All right, a very good evening or otherwise time appropriate greetings to you folks. Welcome to Speed Gaming 2 and welcome to our second qualifier in the Super Metroid Link to the Past Combo Randomizer SG Live category. So, we got a good one for you today, folks. This is the second out of 4 qualifier matches that will determine the group stages of the SMZ3 SG Live 2022 roster. Our runners, excuse me, our runners today are A0 and Maniacal on Restream, but we have got a whopping 26 racers in this race time room today. So plenty of company. We do have Mad Ewok Herd on tracking to help make sure everybody knows who has what. So we will be all up to pace when the time comes. But it is hard logic, so there is a good there's a good chance we may be seeing some various suitless Magmore. Yeah, sorry, Metroid Prime memory kicking in. Various suitless Norfair, suitless Meridia, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. That said, our runners are on a 10-minute delay, so based on the race time room, we should see things kicking off on our end in about 90 seconds. The way that qualifiers will be handled is that of the 4 matches, 2 are required. The first 2 will be the ones calculated. The top 32 scores will move on to group stages unless we get 40 or more entrants, in which case the group stage will consist of 40 plus people. In which case top 40 will move on. But that requires us having 40 people, which we hopefully will get. Nothing like some extra SMZ3 for the folks at home. Now, the endgame requirements are 774 fast Ganon, and what 774 means is that it takes 7 Link to the Past crystals to open up GT, 7 Link to the Past crystals to kill Ganon. Luckily, we don't have to worry about GT since it's 7-7 fast Ganon, except maybe Master Sword shenanigans, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it again. And the 4 stands for the number of Super Metroid bosses, so we basically have to get all crystals, all Super Metroid bosses. Now, I do believe those are shuffled. The Super Metroid bosses are shuffled alongside the crystals, so we may see Super Metroid credit in Link to the Past. We'll see how that plays out. All right, we have passed the 10-minute mark on the race time, so that should be our cue to see the runners kick things off. You can see Maniacal and A0 certainly demonstrating their eagerness to get along. But let's begin. Now we've got 2 items in logic and hard difficulty here as we begin in Super Metroid. We've got Vanilla Morph Ball, of course, and then the energy tank right next door that's up in the ceiling that can be reached courtesy of a damage boost. That being said, both runners electing to go directly to A Link to the Past. Peeking the Hylia Island, it's just a big 20. And to clarify with chat, no runners can see either other player's screens. It is their own. Immediate divergence here, we've got missiles in Link's house and a heart container in the sanctuary. And we're going to see A0 go for the Hyrule Castle play, while Maniacal goes for the backdoor into Kakariko play. Early Lumberjack check. We get a Tier 3 treat pull from A0, and it is Blue Rupees. Weird quirk with SMZ3 is that when you start up and you go into Link to the Past, the treat pulls are set to their high tiers immediately. Maniacal also taking advantage of that Tier 3 treat pull to get some extra cash. Nothing of note going on from the uncle so far, but in the chest we get a Fire Rod. Now, I don't know if we are running on the advanced Link to the Past rando logic. I don't think we are. That's a mushroom in Lumberjack Ledge. That is not something you want to see. But yeah, going back on the advanced logic, business. I'm not sure if that's been adopted into SMZ3 and therefore Fire Rod is a valid light source. If it is, great. If not, no big deal. We got a red boomerang in the mushroom spot. So, a nice range weapon, and looks like tier 1 tree pull is some arrows, which, if only we had a bow to use that. Bush Crab giving us some bombs. Actually, that was a choo-choo KO, never mind. So, lucky 8 bomb drop there. Bush Crabs are small magic. But yeah, now we're going to see Maniacal make the loop into Kakariko from the bottom instead. Try and grab some bombs from the 2 50-50 bushes here. Also setting up for another tree pull by the looks of it. Okay, 1 bomb drop, better than absolutely nothing. Fire Rod Dark Rooms are not a thing in SMZ3. Okay, so it's still using the, for lack of a better term, original ALT TPR logic. Thank you, Maddie Walkert, for that update. And to clarify with chat, yes, this is hard logic, so that mainly applies to Super Metroid, which means Samus may be expecting to do things like various suitless upper Norfair. That is a spring ball on the race game, which I think Maniacal might pick up here. Yeah, it looks like he's heading in that direction. And this is definitely something you do want to pick up, because in hard logic, gravity suitless Meridia is a thing as well. And the last thing you want to do is go through that with no spring ball, and then Shaq2 will end up having progression. It's happened. Alright, A0 making immediately a beeline for Kakariko. 5 checks here. We've got flippers. Our first set of power bombs. And 2 missile packs. I did see on the map check that we've got 2 crystals and 1 Metroid boss in the light world. I believe that was specifically Phantoon. Yes, it was. So, all 3 light world dungeons required today. And I think it was a heart container on the library. Yes, it was. So we're seeing our runners kind of meet up in the middle here in Kakariko, but we're going to see Maniacal check the back of the tavern here, and that is some more cash, which means he will at least be able to buy some bombs in the event of an emergency. And in the back of the well, we've got a heart piece, which definitely not going to say no to some hearts early on. We got a bottle in the well, very convenient place for that, along with some more cash. That is an immediate, very convenient sick kid. And A0 has the cash for Bottle Vendor, gets a small refund. Yeah, basically a ripoff. Ooh, we got a grapple beam in the chicken hut. Wow, Spring Ball plus grapple beam is actually kind of telling, because that kind of puts suitless Meridia into question, because grapple beam is pretty helpful for that. Alright, the sick kid giving us another 50 bucks. Probably just to help pay us back from the bottle vendor ripping us off, as he does. And to clarify with chat, they are in fact playing the same seed. So both runners will be finding the same stuff in the same locations. Now the early flippers puts Zora into logic already, so that's another 4 checks on the northeastern section of Hyrule. Other than that, Fire Rod's a nice weapon, so it does definitely feel like Hyrule Castle might not be a bad idea. But other than that, this is a kind of slow start. Not a whole lot going on immediately. But not a particularly impressive Kakariko either. We only got Flippers, Grapple Beam, and Spring Ball, which Grapple Beam and Spring Ball are both nice, but they're not necessarily essential. This is not Metroid Dread. The bottle is also very nice, and they will always be empty on pickup in SMZ3. Having said that, Ace Zero is electing to do the South Shore checks. Ace Zero, not having to farm for those bombs earlier, definitely has given an early edge over Maniacal, but that can very much change if we end up going on a one-item hunt, especially if it's Ice Rod. So yeah, looks like Maniacal's interested in grabbing just a few extra safety bombs here. Slim pickings in the dam, just another 20 bucks. And yeah, Ace Zero making the heads-up play to grab some extra magic to use that Fire Rod for Mini Moldorm Cave, currently the only weapon available, besides bombs, which not currently got a large stack of. Alright. Mini Moldorm Cave has an energy tank, a shield, a heart container, another energy tank. Now, the energy tanks and the nope tanks are actually quite significant because they do factor in to various suitless Norfair. There are 3 checks in particular that need some energy tanks. We need 2 to get to... let me see if I get this right. It's 2 energy tanks to get to Crocomire, 3 for Ice Beam, and 5 for Bubble Mountain. And we've already seen 3 energy tanks and a nope tank. Now, I don't know if the nope tanks are considered in that scenario, but even still, it's not gonna runners are not gonna say no to that this early. To answer your question, chat, we interestingly have not seen any super missile tanks yet. Just 1 tank of power bombs, which for early game is not that great. Generally, you want 10 if you're going to do Brinstar checks. Unfortunately, this last Moldorm is giving Maniacal an incredibly hard time, but nevertheless gets the hit in. And Bridge Guy not having anything for us either, just another missile pack. So we got a lot of regular missiles so far. And yeah, if the nope tanks are considered, as chat points out, then that means we've got 4 to work with right now, with 3 E's and 1 nope. So, yeah, so not quite enough for Bubble Mountain, but that's nothing 1 more energy tank can't fix. That is, of course, assuming we can actually get down there, because we're kind of missing basically all of the Super Metroid gear at the moment, besides missiles. Ooh, Crab's being a little dangerous there. That one, I think, wanted to go shopping for a second. I'm sorry, why is Ice Rod vanilla today? Okay, at least we won't be hunting for that this time. Anywho, vanilla Ice Rod shenanigans aside here, we are going to see the Flippers checks by Ace Zero, while Maniacal heads in the direction of Eastern Palace. Now, I'm trying to remember where the Fire Rod was. It was in Uncle Chest. So yeah, that's... Maniacal's gonna need to head that way eventually. The Green Pendant is in Swamp Palace today. That is a good hint. Swamp Green Pendant. That swamp is already a pretty lucrative dungeon with 6 items as is, but adding Green Pendant for number 7 is pretty tantalizing, at least if we had all the equipment for it. We're still missing a hook shot and Dark World access, among other things. Slim pickings in Sahasra's closet besides some extra cash, too. Zorledge was just 20 bucks, so yep, not nearly enough money to go pay the big scam fish. We'll see how A0 decides to play this out later, because now he is going to have to leave behind King Zora for a much less convenient time. Which does explain why it seems likely that Maniacal is going into Eastern because of the lack of money, hoping to maybe find a 3-hundo here before dipping King Zora. We finally got our first super missiles in Eastern Palace as well. Ammunition might come into play later when we have to take down Mother Brain, because she needs the equivalent of 60 super missiles to take down. This is unfortunately a pretty common thing that can happen in SMZ3, where we end up spending a lot of time in Link to the Past to start off, just because Link to the Past is much more open at the start, whereas in Super Metroid, we've only got 2 checks at the start, and how much do you want to bet we have a vanilla Morph Ball? Especially considering we've already had a vanilla Ice Rod. There's our big key nice and early, so we are going to see the big chest immediately here, but unfortunately, I do believe this means one item is going to be locked out by Lamp. And indeed, one item is going to be locked out by Lamp, but I think both of our runners would likely just take the dive anyway. With 6 hearts, you're probably safe. Eastern Palace isn't that particularly liable to kill you with this equipment. So we are probably going to go ahead and see our runners at least check the vanilla big key chest, but Armos Knights, they won't be able to do efficiently without a bow. They could, theoretically, use the red boomerang, but that would be incredibly painful and incredibly slow, and I doubt that's going to happen. So 50-50 shot for an item here in the vanilla big key chest. We'll see how this plays out. And it's missiles, so we are done here with Eastern. We just need to come back for the crystal. Oh yeah, we can't even get to the Armos Knights anyway without a bow. Never mind. But yeah, so far that Eastern Palace dip not really yielding any results. Not exactly sure what Maniacal's doing here. Is this some kind of setup for Houlihan that I'm not aware of? Because that seems like that might be what it... Oh, never mind. Oh, there's a hit. Or is that Green Guard just a really annoying location? Oh, yeah, it looks like Maniacal was trying to set up a Houlihan, but it didn't quite work. And we can't exactly do it the normal way, or I should say the falling in water way, because we have flippers already. And we can't just bomb ourselves into back of escape because we don't have gloves. So yeah, Houlihan's not really an option at the moment. We are going to see the Hyrule Castle play, though, from A0. Fire Rod in tow. This shouldn't be a particularly hard dip. Just comes down to what do we find down here, because the only chest in logic right now is the one we're coming up on in the front. Having said that, I doubt A0 is just going to dip out after that first item. Ooh, nice full magic from that guard. And there's a second set of power bombs, but yeah, that's pretty much where the logic ends for Hyrule Castle at the moment. Oh, the stun prize was full magic. Okay. Then A0 definitely taking advantage of that red boomerang. There's an extra bomb for later, although I think that unloads now. Okay, that's the map. And the fairy refills are guaranteed to be green potions in the, for Waterfall Fairy specifically, you are always, actually, I think both fairies will always give you green potions. Yeah, setting up a Death Warp is going to take just a hot minute here, because 7 hearts and all, but we'll see what's in here. Watch this be a heart piece leading to a health refill. Okay, no, it's a missile tank. So we've only got Agina's Cave and King Zora left. That's really ugly, because the logic does not consider available rupees when it comes to getting the tools necessary. It assumes you know of any rupee farming spots out there, and we might just have to use them if Agina's Cave is junk. Unfortunately, Maniacal just burnt another 50 grabbing more bombs. That is not something you want to see. But luckily, with Maniacal heading in the direction of Hyrule Castle, we are going to see him pick up his Fire Rod, which I'm sure he's not going to say no to going into Hyrule Castle. We are seeing A0 check the back. We have not yet seen the key of interest, so if the key's not here, it's in the back of Escape. Luckily, even though we don't have Lamp immediately available to us... Oh, never mind, the torch fixed that for us. And nice shield. Okay, so Hyrule Castle not the answer. With that said, it's either Agina's Cave, King Zora, or Vanilla Morph Ball, or Crateria Energy Tank. Or Blue Bryn Energy Tank, so take your pick, folks. Looks like A0 is going to go for Agina Cave, and if this isn't the answer, then it's basically in a bad spot. Our first progression here. Now, this first progression could be a lot of things. It could be a glove, it could be Morph Ball, it could be a book, it could be a bow. The big opener right now, the big seed cracker at this point would be Morph Ball. Because that basically lets us do more than 2 checks right now in Super Metroid. And it is not Agina's Cave either. We're farming rupees or it's Vanilla Morph Ball. And it looks like A0 is electing to check Vanilla Morph Ball first. Yeah, after a save and quit, a hard reset of the console will take you right back to Super Metroid. And your starting point will always be... I'm just going to call it Landing Site for now. It's what it's called in the Prime games. I might as well call it that here. Alright, so Maniacal's stealing the key here to check back of Escape, so this is a very interesting play, because there is definitely bigger density back here, and you don't want to come back here later without Glove, or with Glove. Because back of Escape now is kind of out of the way. But Michael is going to eat that bottle of green goo courtesy of the Waterfall Fairy and just go ahead and use that to keep Fire Rod going. Does give you 8 shots, so definitely don't want to burn those. I just realized what I said. But yeah, you don't want to burn those shots carelessly. And Vanilla Morph Ball contains an Ether Medallion that might be useful later, but we kind of have to see the Dark World dungeons first. Alright, and the E-Tank item is the Morph Ball. Sphere Zero Morph Ball and hard logic, folks. Alright, Backup Escape has the key and 2 Power Bomb tanks, so nothing going on for Maniacal there is going to take an intentional Death Warp, while Ace Zero makes the play to Billy Mays. So, Red Ruby initially, but wait, there's more. Stick around for a second and you can get a Fighter Sword. Definitely want to see swords. We do need Master Sword eventually to defeat Ganon. And that could very well be the only sword we see until GT, because we do have Fast Ganon enabled, so you can get to Ganon and fight him immediately after picking up the 7th crystal. Actually, you could fight him anytime, you just won't be able to kill him until you get all 7 crystals, but the point still stands. Definitely not a bad payout in Billy Mays. The sword will be nice. Not exactly what we're looking for, but not something we will turn down either. That being said, not much going on in Alpha Missiles. So now it's off into Brinstar. Get some more super missiles. Definitely want to see those. So yeah, all eyes on Ace Zero for a second, who is going to be the one here showing us some new information while Maniacal finishes up this Hyrule Castle dive. So at least won't have to come back here later, but at the same time isn't going to find any progression, which is a bit unfortunate, but hey-ho, rando gonna rando. That is a blue rupee. That is definitely not getting picked up under Mother Brain. You can keep Mother Brain can keep her last possessions there. Looks like Ace Zero is also going to check the Climb Supers early. Not acquirable yet without Speed Booster, but definitely want to know ahead of time if you're going to have to come back here later. And nope, not going to need to come back for that. That's just another pack of Power Bombs. So at least Power Bomb's not an issue today, especially since Maniacal found another 10 in Backup Escape. We're probably going to see Ace Zero take a quick detour to the ship to refuel on Power Bombs here, because generally you want to have all 10 before you're doing your Brinstar loop. Because 5 isn't generally ideal. Having Spring Ball will thankfully alleviate any Morph Ball jumps we do need to do, but of interest, Maniacal has not... Oh, I think Maniacal is trying to get to Agina's Cave again. Or not again, rather, just trying to get there. Not much going on in 230 missiles, but still having a bit of a slow progression here. And we are going to see Ace Zero check bombs. I like to call this one Little Bird, while the Golden Torizo's Big Bird. Yeah, we might need that. That's another orb. Does this boss now activate regardless of if you have bombs or not? That's a change I wasn't aware of. Not that it matters, we have missiles and supers. So down goes Little Bird. Oh, it just activates now if you pick up the item. Makes sense. But yeah, so Moon Pearl is nice, but by itself, it doesn't really do anything. We need a glove and a hammer or a pair of gloves to make that useful, which is not currently available to us. Now, that being said, Gauntlet is in logic with this equipment through continuous wall jumps, so we'll see if A0 decides to go to that next. And indeed, that is exactly what he's doing. Definitely still want to be a little careful here, because this acid does deal a lot of damage on power suit only. Case in point, just stubbing the toe in there, and that was like 50 energy gone. And let's see, front of Gauntlet is a hard piece, but we will see A0 go to the back. In which case we will be granted 2 items. Ooh, that was a bit of a hard dip, but that dip there for A0. So it's already down to 194 HP, but gets through nonetheless. 2 items up for grabs here. We'll see how these play out. And it's both missiles. Gauntlet of missiles. Which, given A0's somewhat limited supers count, he elects to pick that up. Now, we can get a couple of refills from these 2 guys. But yeah, this is definitely one of the slower SMZ3 starts we've seen here, so we still can't really clear a dungeon. We can just basically do our Brinstar loop, and that's about it. And I think the Brinstar loop is our next stop for A0. Down we go. Alright, so with how sort of linear the seeds being, Maniacal unfortunately still just playing catch up until something comes along to split the seed open, and unfortunately it doesn't look like Speed Booster Bridge is going to do it, although we do get a Bombos Medallion, which is a pretty nice offensive move, but other than that, doesn't immediately help us. The late game might start speeding up once we have the ability to go to the Dark World. We do get a mirror finally on top of Speed Booster Bridge, but let me think. That mirror, I think, right off the bat doesn't give us anything at the moment. We still can't go up to the... actually, I have to correct myself there. We can get to Death Mountain via the upper Norfair portal. On the flip side, A0 has now just found a cane of Samaria above Edikun Pit with the hammer right behind it. Wow, this Brinstar is stacked. So much for slow start. This is very much starting to look like an early swamp seed, because we now have hammer and mirror and flippers. The only thing we would need at this point is a glove and a hook shot, and we'd basically be in business. Oh, and Maniacal on the flip side has found powder in X-ray scope. So Maniacal taking a different route here. Alright, and behind Spore Spawn today, we receive... Oh wait, no, wrong corridor. We will see that at check in a minute, though. In the meantime, AC are going to check Mission Impossible as Maniacal descends Red Tower. And Mission Impossible is the Green Rupee of Eternal Glory. Wait, there's two of those. Unfortunately, that is still not what we're looking for. And again, the mirror does give us checks. Actually, mirror plus hammer gives us East Death Mountain, so actually quite a bit has opened up in A Link to the Past courtesy of this crowded green Brinstar. Vanilla super missiles. Nice. And I don't think anything of note showed up at Spazer. Nope, was arrows. We're going to see the wave gate here. I don't recall if this is enabled in hard logic. I feel like it might be. And even still, it's a red ruby, so no logical head-scratching need be done today. Maniacal has instead decided to go to Kraid's lair first, so this is some interesting divergence, and we'll see which of the two plays pays off. Right now, it looks to be A0's, it looks like A0, definitely getting the better plays right now, getting half magic in the charge beam neighborhood. And chat confirming that it is, in fact, Wavegate is in logic and hard difficulty. Thank you, chat. Some tiny bits of hard logic escape me sometimes. Alright, but Maniacal is going to be on our first boss of the night, and it's going to be a Kraid fight. Unfortunately, we do not have bombs, so we can't just use the... Oh, wait. Never mind, Maniacal took care of that anyway. And Kraid was crystal number 6, which means that that was a red crystal. Very interesting. Alright, A0 is going to make the tower play now. Maniacal's going to be heading to Brinstar in a minute anyway to pick up the rest of those goodies. So I think we're ultimately going to see runners kind of meet up in the middle here, because right now, it does seem like our next stop is probably A Link to the Past again. We're probably going to Tower of Hera. Unfortunately, A0 has burned quite a lot of HP. And Spike's really hurt on Power Suit. Crady Tank is a second bottle, though. Runner's definitely not going to say no to that yet. Wow, Maniacal just barely made that jump. Well done. And Maniacal is going to Norfair. Looks to be making the run to Ice Beam. This is in logic with 3 energy tanks, so is going to try for it. And it is an energy tank, which is our 5th energy tank, so that is logical access now to Bubble Mountain. Thanks to the 1 Nope tank we have adding number 5. And that is Super Missiles in Crumble Tower. So, not what we're looking for there. As much as I would like to see suitless Meridia, I think our runners want to see at least high jump boots before trying that. Space jump would probably be even better. Alright, we got some blue mail outside of high jump with another energy tank, so the energy tank's definitely not an issue today. Defensively, in Link to the Past at least, runners are looking pretty good. Having said that, I think we also need, I think we actually do need high jump given our current equipment to even get to Bubble Mountain anyway, so... Alright, let's see what's behind Crocomire. More missiles that we probably don't need anymore. And with that, Maniacal is our first runner to Death Mountain. And we'll see what's on top of Spectacle Rock, perfectly in logic courtesy of the mirror, and it is another heart piece. And that would be another set of sticks in the back of Spectacle Rock, so nothing of importance here. But we do have the equipment to full clear Tower of Hera in one fell swoop here, courtesy of that Fire Rod. Maniacal, on the flip side, is going to go ahead and rescue the old man first together to secure a respawn point. Unfortunately, without the hammer, and the mirror for that matter, actually, this dive into Death Mountain is going to end very early. A0, on the other hand, will be able to full clear Tower of Hera and do East Death Mountain on this pass, should he choose to go there next, which I would wager that's the next stop, because, yeah, A0 is heading in that direction. Ooh! Well, Maniacal at least might have something to keep himself busy. Got a book from the old man. Out of logic until Lamp shows up. But nevertheless, it is access to another dungeon. And for that matter, no, we need a glove still. So we can't do a tremendous... We can do some checks in desert, but we can't do the whole thing. Alright, so Maniacal is taking a save warp and getting a full refill. This is probably a gauntlet check. Yep, pulling out the power bombs. It's definitely a gauntlet check. I do notice both runners being pretty thorough with making sure they don't leave anything behind in the at least checks they can get, see but not get. A0, on the other hand, though, is going for Ice Beam as well. So yeah, again, they're being thorough about what they have available to them, making sure they don't miss anything. Because if there's one thing about Rando that you definitely want to consider is that if the logic says something can be somewhere, it could be somewhere. More often, it will be there. With Grapple Beam, we do have access to Wrecked Ship, I believe. So we can get to Wrecked Ship, we can beat Fantoon. We do know that there is, at least a green pendant in the Dark World. And we know that there are 3 Super Metroid kills currently unaccounted for. With Kraid, or not, with Fantoons rather, being in Tower of Hera. So yeah, Wrecked Ship. Actually, Wrecked Ship might not be a bad idea. Although, we don't really have... Spiky Room of Death would be a bit of a pain with this loadout, because I think logically we need at least either Speed Booster or a Jump Upgrade. I don't think Spring Ball by itself is enough. Oh, we can springboard jump? Okay, never mind. And power bombs work too. Okay, so never mind. I guess so. The only check we can't get in Wreck Ship is Wreck Ship Reserve. For that, we need Speed Booster. Alright, Ace Zero has made the Death Mountain play, and this is definitely where we're going to see things come to life here, because Hera's in play, East Death Mountain is in play. There is a lot for Ace Zero to do here. Maniacal, on the other hand, is doing the green Brinstar checks, and is going to come across Kane and Hammer right here. Probably not be too happy about the fact that he left those behind on the first pass and could have done more stuff in Death Mountain. We can also read the Ether Tablet courtesy of that literacy, which I think we're going to see Ace Zero do before diving Tower of Hera here. Unless he wants to find a sword first, but that looks to not be the case. It is some kind of flying bomb, which translates to a missile tank. Or bomb arrows. Too bad that's not a thing in this game. That wouldn't be a thing until Link's Awakening. We actually have a really interesting scenario on our hands where if we find two gloves really soon and the medallions cooperate, we could actually have a Turtle Rock clearable already. Alright, early big key. So not necessarily an immediate need to go to the Hera basement. No map or compass yet either, so the bottom of Hera Pantry was an item. So there's only one item left in Tower of Hera. Not a particularly, I don't think Ace meant to fall there. Camera, we need you to go down, please. Thank you. Usually the camera's not the enemy in A Link to the Past unless you're trying to mimic clip or something. But the camera has its ways. Alright, Ace Zero doesn't have a particularly optimal way to check the big chest right now, so he's probably going to fall into it. Never mind, there's the second item. So this this is probably going to be a hammer Moldorm. I doubt that. Yeah, there's Ace Zero pulling out the hammer. Fighter Sword's not efficient in this case. Hammer is just 3 pounds and that's it. Moldorm attempting to get the first strike here, but Ace Zero just zips around. Pretty solid fight, and is rewarded with the Fantoon boss kill, most importantly. And that's going to do it for Tower of Hera. And the next stop for Ace Zero, definitely East Death Mountain. There are a ton of checks back here, almost a dozen. There's the 7 in, Paradox Cave, there's Spiral Cave, we can peek the floating island. And it's a hard piece, so yeah, there's a handful of nice things here. Alright, Maniacal is climbing back up Red Tower here. Gets around those, gets around quite nicely. I think that's in Logic and Hard difficulty, even without Ice Beam. Spiral Cave is a hard piece. I may or may not have forgotten enemy names, chat. Sorry. Alright, Alpha Power Bombs is another energy tank, which we will not say no to. And right behind it is some more explosives. Oh, that's in Logic even in normal difficulty. Yikes. Where's the big red cane? The big red cane was in above the Etikun pit. We just found a shovel in Paradox Cave along with a third bottle. Ooh, nice bomb refund from the Moldorms. We get a magic cape, an energy tank, and a heart container. Now that cape is pretty big right now, but even bigger is that glove. We have Dark World access. East Death Mountain, definitely the play. I was going to say that that cape puts Aghanim in Logic, which by extension at least gets Lumberjack ready to go for when we eventually get, hopefully eventually get Pegasus Boots to get the mushroom off of Lumberjack Ledge, but instead, looks like A0 is going to go to the Dark World. And there is a lot we can do here. All right, map check. We've got both remaining pendants in Thieves Town and Skull Woods, and one Super Metroid boss and the other 5-6 crystal in Ice Palace and Misery Mire, respectively. Which means that the remaining 2 boss kills are in Super Metroid. And a crystal are in Super Metroid. So all 4 Super Metroid bosses required. Pendant Skull Woods and Thieves Town, those are both already in play, and the only thing stopping us from Pendant Swamp is a hook shot. Which thankfully did not show up in Hype Cave, which I'm at least thankfully from A0's perspective, I'm sure. To answer some questions from chat, Moon Pearl was on Bomb Terizo, and the lamp has not been found yet. We're going to see the stump check, and this will be routed very nicely in with the shovel, courtesy of Mirror. A0 now does have the cash available to finally pick up Zora. Unfortunately, he's in a pretty bad spot to go route that in. There's not really any incentive to head to that neighborhood in the very near future. Now, on the flip side, Maniacal is taking on Phantoon. Not too bad equipment to do so. Not the best armaments in the universe, but missiles will do the trick, and 6 energy tanks isn't the worst. Oh, but there's finally our Varia suit in K45. Alright, so we don't have to worry about heated rooms anymore. That's going to give A0 actually a big defensive boost against Phantoon, because those fireballs actually deal elemental damage, which the Varia suit protects, I think, 75% of? Yeah, Varia suit is actually super effective against elemental attacks. It is 50%, okay. Nevertheless, Maniacal not having too much trouble dealing with Phantoon and is rewarded with the Kraid boss credit. Oh, are the fireballs non-elemental? Never mind, I thought they were. Now, nothing of note on the dig game, but Ace0 is going to head back in the direction of Kakariko. This is looking to be a Skull Woods play by the looks of things. After a quick check of Hammer Pegs. Not Hammer Pegs, excuse me, Magic Bat. So far, unfortunately for Maniacal, not too much showing up yet in this wrecked ship, besides the required Phantoon kill. So with the way our, Ooh, that's an Ice Beam. That's interesting. So Ice Beam on Bat. That could be helpful for Suitless Meridia, actually. Unfortunately, that's our only beam we've acquired so far. Oh, Maniacal's just found the other glove in Wreck Ship, so we have a perfectly in logic Titan's Mitts. Oh my. So, with Titan's Mitts in logic, we have a full clearable Turtle Rock. And it is a crystal, so we do have to go there eventually. The only thing that might stop us from Trinex at the moment is a Quake Medallion, but it looks like we're going to get a pedestal read from Ace0 here. And let's see what we got here. It obviously can't be Hookshot because Swamp. A better copy of your sword for your time. That would mean that we have a sword on the pedestal. That's not getting picked up. Also, is that even randomized? Never mind. And chat brings up a good point. Logically, we need Lamp for Trinex. Now, here comes the next million-dollar question. If another sword doesn't show up, will we have to... well, no, another sword's probably going to show up. Because it is fast scanning, so you don't necessarily have to do GT, and I would imagine runners are going to try and dip GT for a second sword before doing Oops All Dungeons. So that, unfortunately, as nice as Vanilla Master Sword would be, that's probably not getting picked up. Those are Pegasus boots, though, in chess games, so for the moment, besides the Wreck Ship glove, everything is pretty much coming up Ace0 here. So Boots adds an extra check for us to work with in Desert, but Desert's still currently out of logic without a lamp. Correction. It needs a... Well, no. It is out of logic. We need either Flute or Lamp. Because we have Logical Titan's Mitts, but we don't have Flute. The other thing is that the book was lamp locked, and Fire Rod logic is not considered in SMZ3 as a light source. There's a space jump in Thieves Town. This is looking pretty good for Suitless Meridia with Ice Beam and Space Jump now being found. I think the only thing really stopping us from Suitless Meridia is high jump boots. Okay, missiles in Wreck Ship Reserve. That will not be getting picked up. Is that big key even randomized? Yeah. Oh, Space Jump doesn't help for Suitless Meridia. It's still nice to see regardless. Alright, what have we got at the top of Wreck Ship? We're not going to be able to see, unfortunately. Until Maniacal does the Spring Ball jump. That's an arrow capacity upgrade on Bumper Ledge. Nothing of importance there. Ooh, Maniacal almost accidentally overshot that critter, but it's just a heart piece up in the sky. Okay. So there's, I think, one more check here in Wreck Ship. Past the bowling alley. One or two more. Yeah, there's the bowling alley itself, and then there is, gravity suit. This is a graveyard ledge check from Ace Zero, and this is going to give us, survey says, a heart container, which I'm kind of surprised Ace Zero decided not to grab that. Having said that, 10 hearts blue mail is pretty solid for the rest of the game, but even still, taking a death to Ganon Hug is not what you want. Alright, we are getting the King's Tomb check courtesy of those boots and mirror. And King's Tomb is money. Oh, Maniacal finds a charge beam under the bowling alley, so that is definitely something to have. That should eliminate the missile requirements for Mother Brain. If we had maybe a couple extra beam upgrades to make the beams more powerful than super missiles. But that's going to do it for Maniacal's dive here into Wreck Ship, so didn't come out completely empty-handed, got a glove and charge beam. So is going to be led in the direction of Death Mountain probably sooner than later, but does still have to get Moon Pearl out of Bomb Terizo before too much time goes by. Alright, Catfish giving us some missiles, as Maniacal takes another safety save and ammo refill at the ship. Ace Zero making the trek back to Zora to finally pick up what has been hounding us for the better part of the last hour, as that has been in logic pretty much immediately ever since Kakariko. But Maniacal is making the play to bomb Terizo, so is going to be rewarded with that Moon Pearl. And the King had an X-ray scope, which... make of that what you will. Maybe Plasma Beam shows up soon. Alright, Ace Zero is back in Super Metroid, and with Various Suit and this level of equipment, there is a pretty considerable amount he can do right now. Space Jump in particular is really nice, because it's basically what we in the Ori Rando community like to call verticality. So we're finally able to climb up most of the wide open areas, so we're probably going to see Ace Zero go to Wreck Ship next. And yeah, Ace Zero's going for Wreck Ship. I doubt we're going to see Suva's Meridia just yet. Still plenty of other checks available to us. Because, yeah, Crocomeyer's in play. Yeah, there's a lot we can do here. We do know all Super Metroid bosses are required whether you like it or not, so... considering they have two crystals and two Super Metroid credits. And Maniacal also getting the bad news that Thieves Town and Skullwoods are pendants as well. So we're still looking for a lot of stuff here. We're looking for Gravity Suit, of course. What else are we looking for? We're looking for hook. We need hookshot for Ice Palace, probably. We need a flute for Misery Mire. Actually, we don't need a flute for Misery Mire. We can get around that by going to Lower Norfair. Yep, we actually don't need a whole heck of a lot at this point. Yeah, we pretty much, logically, we just need hookshot, bow, and gravity suit. That's about it. Finding both of those rods already, actually really eliminated some of the harder parts of the shopping list from these runners. We're seeing Maniacal make the Dark World play. Unfortunately, this is keeping him away from Death Mountain, which we know is definitely the place to be for grabbing stuff, as that will give Titan's Mitts. And Ace Zero is actually going to be the first at this rate to get Titan's Mitts, as he will be our first runner to enter Wreck Ship. That said, Maniacal is about to get Various Suit here. And money no longer an issue for Ace Zero, so it's just going to pass up on that rupees. So yeah, right now my gut tells me Norfair for where the next progression is. I lost count, by the way, of how many digs it took to get the item. I think it was a handful, not like too many more than 15. Yep, 18. But yeah, in this scenario, I can't see a scenario where our runner... in this scenario, I can't see a case where our runners are going to pull Ped for that sword. Because there's plenty of other, far more easy checks you can make, like checking GT is even better than pulling the pedestal in this scenario. Alright, Maniacal is going to go get Ice Beam from Bat. So with the last 5-6 crystal being Mire, I think with this equipment that actually would put Pyramid Fairy in logic. Yeah, because I don't think there's anything stopping us from finishing Mire at this point if we get to the Lower Norfair portal. Yeah, we've got Cane, we've got Boots. That lets us in. I think logically we still need a lamp. But at this point, our runners will happily skip the lamp. Oh, right, we need to... I keep forgetting, Lower Norfair needs us to go through that, needs us to do that lava dive shenanigans, which basically requires us to have gravity or high jump boots. Thanks for keeping me straight on this one, chat. Alright, Ace Zero about to, get his hands on that Titan's Mitt. In a couple of minutes here. In the meantime, Maniacal is doing the Skull Woods checks here. Finds the first item immediately in a super missile tank. And yep, that's the Titan's Mitt. So yeah, right now we're looking for, yeah, just gravity, bow, and hookshot, and unfortunately there's a lot of places individually where all three of those can be. Because yeah, there's a few places that hookshot can be locked out of. Gravity, I think the biggest wild card right now is actually Gravity Suit, because that can be A, anywhere in Super Metroid, B, not anywhere in Super Metroid, excuse me, B, A, anywhere in A Link to the Past, B, almost everywhere in Super Metroid except a couple spots in Meridia. If, for example, High Jump Boot shows up next. So yeah, I think right now the biggest wild card is Gravity Suit. Having said that, if our runners were so inclined with the right tools, they could skip it. Not completely unheard of, not exactly pleasant either, but to each runner their own, and we'll see if that ends up coming to a head later. Alright, Maniacal not having too much trouble breezing by Skull Woods here. Took that extra small key from earlier and just decided to yeet straight in. And yeah, with half magic and fire rod, this Mothula fight is, for the most part, a joke. Having said that, Maniacal has ran out of ammo, and I think just needs one or two more hammer swings to finish the job. And is almost out of hearts. Y'all need to stop scaring me like that. Gets the red pendant for the trouble. Unfortunately, we know that's probably not going to do us any good at this point. Yeah, Ace Zero making good use of that 500 rupee X-ray scope. And yeah, Maniacal's about to get the very bad news that pedestal, well, or very good news, depending on your interpretation, that it is not worth it to get pedestal today. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see where our runners decide to go from here, because Maniacal, we know, needs to go back to get Glove out of East Death Mountain. A0, on the other hand, has that and is almost done with Wreck Ship here. Is about to get Charge Beam. With this equipment, actually, Ice Palace isn't a bad idea. Hookshot would be nice, but it could be skipped. Oh, Maniacal just found a flute in Skull Woods. That's the second item. Definitely want to see that. That is, we're just a lamp away from Pyramid Fairy and Logic here. Not sure why Maniacal's picking up keys and not just immediately yeeting out of this dungeon. Because that was the second item in Skull Woods. Probably because this is faster. That flute also does give runners access to Lower Norfair via Big Bird. So yeah, Super Metroid is pretty open right now. Unfortunately, Maniacal is missing those Titan Smiths, so until he picks those up, won't actually be able to reach Lower Norfair via that portal. So now that Flute and Mitts have shown up, Desert is in logic, without Lamp. And full clearable for that matter with Boots in tow. We're gonna see Terminator now, after Ace goes back for a quick refill, courtesy of being out of power bombs. Oh, never mind. Fascinating. Alright, Maniacal is doing the Village of Outcasts checks now, and going into Thieves Town will net a space jump, but does get boots regardless. So let's see how Ace Zero decides to handle this. Looks like this is going to be a Dark Death Mountain check. We might even see a Turtle Rock dive if the equipment is, if the medallion is correct. First chest and Hookshot Cave is also a possibility as well. You love, if you're the audience at home, you love to see Hookshot and Hookshot Cave. But let's have a peek here and see if Turtle Rock is in fact is available already. Of note, there are still 2 items remaining in Thieves Town. We've only seen 2 items and the small key, and Turtle Rock is Quake. Remember how I said Gravity was the big wild card? Yeah, you can throw Quake Medallion onto that list. Because yeah, Quake can be literally anywhere that isn't Turtle Rock, or behind Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, it does not appear to be under the doormat. Although, having said that, we'll see if they check the mailbox, i.e. Hookshot Cave. Guess that's a no. And Maniacal is going to go ahead and do Desert. Looks like Ace Zero is more interested in doing Spike Cave first here. Not a problem, courtesy of that cape. Alright, so Desert Palace not immediately boots locked. Not that it really matters, since boots were available as soon as we had Dark World access, but even still. Alright, still no items immediately found in Desert. And we're gonna see some Norfair checks now from Ace Zero. Some more Norfair checks, I should say. And yeah, with Space Jump, we can just go ahead and zip right on up here. So our next stop on Ace Zero's end is going to be Bubble Mountain. That's a Cane of Burna in the Cathedral. That is going to be skipped. Big key on the Torch in Desert, but no big deal. We've got Boots. That's an easy pickup. And there we go, that's a plasma beam, and with X-ray and charge in tow, we have microwave capabilities. Plasma's definitely one of the bigger beam boosters out there for sure. The only thing that can make our beam truly crispy at this point is wave, because Phaser and Plasma can't be used together. Alright, so far, nothing of note in Desert, so Maniacal's just going to go ahead and finish up here, just take on Landmolus and grab the crystal. Makes sense, you gotta do this anyway. We're seeing some very different ways of play here from our runners based on the equipment they have. The way Maniacal's playing, it looks like he's more interested in checking dungeons and hoping progression falls on his lap on the way, since the dungeons are required anyways. Whereas A0 is more interested in the overworld checks and Super Metroid. Courtesy of those Titansmiths. That was a flawless Landmolus from Maniacal, though. Definitely a fantastic boss fight. And that's going to be Maniacal's second crystal. Oh, no, first crystal of the... Oh, no, second crystal of the night, because Kraid had one, too. So, Maniacal is up one crystal on A0, both tied at... actually, no. A0 is up one Super Metroid kill on Maniacal, since he has not done Hera yet, which I figure that's the next stop, probably. Which is going to give Maniacal Titansmiths at a more appropriate time for checking Dark Death Mountain. And speak of the devil, there's Wave Beam. I'm sorry, what is with all this vanilla stuff? Because we've now had a vanilla Wave Beam, vanilla Sword Upgrade, and vanilla Ice Rod. Can you cut that out? We do have the tools to check Bombo's tablet as well. We haven't seen a runner do that yet. Indeed, to answer your question, Chad, yeah, Ice Rod was vanilla. Ice Rod was vanilla, the sword upgrade on Pet is vanilla, Wave Beam is vanilla, Bag of Gauntlet was both missiles. Oh yeah, by the way, here's Crocomire. Wave as he just constantly moonwalks back. Actually, I can't really call that moonwalking now, can I? A0 just staring down that bug net. But yeah, that's not going to get picked up at this point. So there's a couple of items back here that we can check. So we'll see if Croc is any good. So far, all we've had was vanilla Wave Beam, which, again, it's nice because we now have a fully charged beam. Which now stand-up glitch sounds like a really good idea when we cross that bridge. But nothing much going on yet behind Crocomire just yet, just some super missiles. As Maniacal has taken down Muldorm for the Phantoon boss, credit, and so now that will render both runners tied on Super Metroid bosses. So yeah, right now Maniacal has the boss lead. by 1 crystal. And is going to get Titan's Mitts in a minute here, so we will see how he chooses to route in the rest of this seed. Because it does seem like so far Norfair has had convenience, but not necessarily progression. With Plasma and Wave. And that's a missile tank at Grapple Beam, and I think that's gonna basically do it. Oh no, there's one check back here, but it's Power Bombs. Alright, Maniacal getting the bottle out of Paradox is about to go ahead and get Titan's Mitts. This becomes a really interesting scenario here. Like, it's getting close to the point where it might actually be more tantalizing to dip Pendant Swamp, because the majority of the items in there can be picked up without Hookshot. Assuming, of course, they're not all behind the big door. Alright, let's see what Ace0 decides to do here. If this is a play for Lower Norfair or someplace else. Alright, Maniacal has returned, rather started the dive of Dark Death Mountain. And yeah, we're gonna see Ace0 try to get to Lower Norfair without high jump or gravity suit here, doing some high jumpless strats. This is a very difficult series of wall jumps to do. And gets it first try. Well done. And we definitely don't need to pull the pedestal today because the first chest in Hookshot Cave had a sword. That being said, Maniacal's gonna hover to the other 3 chests anyway, or at least fall down trying. Preferably the former. Nice spacer. But yeah, we kind of have to go in here from the front given the circumstances, although with the flute, we could go in the back door now. So yeah, Ace0 is going to go ahead and drain the lava here. And pick up Showcase Showdown. I almost forgot the name of this check for a second. And it's just a red rupee. Alright, well, we've already seen Little Bird meet Big Bird. And this fight is basically a cakewalk with this tool set. Yeah, Quispy kinda utterly roasts Big Bird. Anyone up for fried chicken? No thanks, I just ate before I came on the air. Alright. Nothing of note here. We're having a peek. We did see a peek at Meyer, and it looks like it is ether locked. I'm sorry, again, is this even randomized? We'd like to welcome the folks joining us from SpeedGaming 5. You are joining us in the middle of the second qualifier for SpeedGaming Live for the Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer. We have a pretty interesting race going on here between Maniacal and Ace0, as well as 24 other runners off screen. we actually have our runners kind of meeting up here in front of Misery Mire. We may see them both entering the dungeon simultaneously, even though, again, Mire's still, at least completing Mire out of logic without a lamp, but definitely can do a lot of stuff in here otherwise with this current equipment, especially since we found Flute. And it looks like ACR is going to do Desert Palace first, since it's a crystal and it's got to be done anyway. But yeah, it looks like Maniacal was able to get a little bit of that lost time at the first few minutes of the game back, courtesy of there just not being anything particularly important in Norfair, besides some beam upgrades. So I don't recall there being any major items here in Desert, so ACR is just going to probably zip right on through. Well, probably going to full clear it, but not going to get anything new as he zips on through. Alright, we're going to get a look at the fire-locked area of Mire. Not quite sure what Maniacal was doing there. Alright, there's another small key. That's 2 Mire small keys already. Unfortunately, A0 ran out of magic mid-fight, so is gonna have to rely on Hammer to finish the job. Ooh, just barely made it across the bridge. Can't open the big chest just yet, though. Needs a big key, which is hopefully just chilling right here. Even so, we have to go back around. Looks like A0 went straight for the back of the dungeon. But mild trouble later, and A0 has succeeded in the Lamola's fight. Unfortunately, Maniacal missed the cycle on the collapsing tiles and is going to have to reload the room again. Because, yeah, you do not have a lot of time to get all the way, at least up to a safe spot to Pegasus Dash. And the big chest was nothing but some blueberries. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that means we've seen both items? Yeah, we've seen both items, so yeah, now it's just a run to the boss. A dark run to the boss, but nevertheless, Maniacal's just going to get this out of the way anyway, which would be his second 5-6, which would give Pyramid Fairy a nice stern, which means we can give Pyramid Fairy a nice good stern talking to. The seed has kind of slowed down in the last 20 minutes or so, ever since we found, the last major progression item we really found was Flute. Unfortunately, it looks like Maniacal might have gotten lost. Oh, nope, never mind, hit the switch. Both of these runners are definitely veterans of their craft here in SMZ3, so they definitely shouldn't be, they won't have too much trouble navigating this. We already saw earlier that they were happy to do Dark Eastern Palace to get the big key, so... Alright, Maniacal is through and gonna be on his way to Vidi. Unfortunately, the equipment for this fight isn't exactly brilliant. Cape and boots kinda helps, but looks like we're gonna improvise with bombs here. Because otherwise it's just Master Sword, which, again, it does the job, but it's not great. He does have to be pretty careful, though, because, again, those eyeballs do a lot of damage, even on blue mail. Well, looks like Maniacal's just starting to get ahead of steam here. Alright, some of the eyes are starting to come out. Still 5 left. Alright. Yeah, now he's definitely in much better shape. There's only 2 now. Now, unfortunately, without Bo, Vitreous is going to be a bit of a tough game of whack an eye. But Maniacal is making it look like a piece of cake. And that is gonna do it. Vidi is down and Maniacal retrieves his second 5-6 crystal. That is his 3rd crystal of the night. Although Acero, not too far behind, is gonna probably get that crystal within the next 6 or 7 minutes or so. The only downside is Acero is currently running on Fighter Sword still, hasn't gotten the other sword out of Hookshot Cave yet. And it looks like Maniacal's next port of call is Ice Palace, and this is definitely working with the strategy we were talking about earlier about Maniacal having a greater interest in rushing dungeons for the moment. Which so far doesn't seem to be not working. At the very least, it is getting him the crystals and Super Metroid credits necessary. We do know that this is a boss kill as well. Also 3 items up for grabs here, so... not a particularly cheap dungeon. After this, though, given that we've already seen Skull Woods, that's where things get a little more complex. We have Lower Norfair access via Mire. We still have some parts of Pendant Swamp up until Left Side Swamp. Which, honestly, is probably the more dense play right now. Even though it is a pendant. Suitless Meridia, really not a good idea without high jump boots. It's doable. We can get there via the Ice Palace portal, but even still, I don't think our runners would want to go in there just yet. Because Suitless Meridia, there are a lot of checks in Meridia, but they're pretty slow without Gravity Suit. I mean, you've got all those checks in the Sand Pits, Shack Tool right next to Dragon, Plasma Beam. So far, nothing but keys in Ice Palace. Which means at the very least all the items are going to start showing up. We get some super missiles here. And it looks like as well that Ice Palace was hookshot locked based on the key layout, so we know that we're not going to find Hook in here. We might still find Bow or Gravity Suit, because the thing is, these three items don't lock a particularly large amount of stuff behind them individually. I mean, besides Gravity Suit. We're also looking for the Quake Medallion as well, because that's our key into Turtle Rock. Alright, we got a chest here. That's the big key. Perfect. We're right in front of the big chest. No better time like the present to go ahead and drop into that. And there's 10 more arrows, so there's one more item left in Ice Palace. And it looks like Maniacal is going for Cold Stare. A0, unfortunately, running out of health here. Doesn't have any emergency potions for that. Is about to get really chased down here. On the flip side, Maniacal just utterly annihilated Cold Stare for a bomb capacity upgrade. Well, credit where it's due, A0 is making this work. Vidi is actually being very consistent here with this movement. But that's all items out of Ice Palace, and one more Super Metroid token for Maniacal. We'd also like to welcome the folks joining us from SpeedGaming Francia. You are joining us in the middle of the second qualifier for SGLIVE 2022 for Super Metroid and Link to the Past Combo Randomizer, where we've got a very interesting race going on here between A0, Maniacal, and 24 other runners off screen. Right now, we are currently looking for Gravity Suit, Bow, Quake Medallion, and Hookshot for our Go mode. We know Pet is dead. Looks like Maniacal's trying to find the magic pixel here, and finally does find it. This should be enough super misses for Big Bird. So yeah, Maniacal's going to probably be doing the rest of Lower Norfair now without Wave or Plasma, so it's going to be a little bit offensive starved, but does have enough weapons to get the job done. Oh wow, SpeedGaming Main has also joined us in a raid for this race in the SGLIVE Qualifier 2022 for Super Metroid Zelda 3 Combo Randomizer. Once again, welcome, folks. And and now we've got runners meeting up in the middle here in Lower Norfair. So yeah, this definitely seems like the most sensible place to be since it can be basically full cleared. Looks like Maniacal, is attempting to farm some extra power bombs here and is generally not having too much trouble. Not power bombs, super missiles. Because yeah, they're a little low at the moment. Yeah, just to get the extra 30 necessary for Ridley in the event of an emergency. Luckily does have Charge Beam available as well. Mickey Mouse only guarding some missiles. A0 have no trouble getting around the rising lava here. Space Jump thankfully does make this a very relaxing trek by comparison to not having it. Alright, getting past the Three Stooges here. A0 not having too much trouble. Although Maniacal has, of interest, not turn on Spazer. For those not in the know, a little bit of a weird property about Spazer and Plasma Beam is because they can't both be used simultaneously. If they are picked up in A Link to the Past, they will be turned off by default, just to avoid any concerns regarding the game having them both enabled and then suddenly the game not being able to handle it. A0 having no trouble clipping through spiked platforms. And is going to be our first runner to Ridley, so A0 with the beam upgrades definitely does have an execution advantage over Maniacal. Execution and offense advantage, which definitely is playing into his favor. And with that, A0 will be our first runner to Ridley. Angry pterodactyl noises. So far, A0 not missing with those super missiles. This is going to be a pretty quick fight. I think that's just about going to do it. Oh, looks like a little more damage is required here. One more charge shot. And that does it for Ridley, who will grant us another crystal, which means that there is a Super Metroid token on Dragon. Maniacal not too far behind A0 for the Ridley fight, only a couple of minutes here. Is not completely up to 30 super missiles, but does have the tools to still make this fight take relatively short time, is gonna farm. Get some power bombs as well, you're not gonna say no to those. Unfortunately, this is causing Maniacal to bleed a little bit of time on A0, and right now, both runners, besides the sword difference, have actually met up in terms of their equipment. In terms of their main equipment, at least. Alright, let's see what's under Ridley's mouth. It is a heart container. A0 deciding to take the damage boost and saying, nope, I do not need that. Ridley down from Maniacal, though, so definitely didn't have a troublesome fight at all there. Well done. Alright, in jail we have a red ruby. And more red rubies. Jeez Louise. How about some progression? We've been literally looking for the same 4 items for the better part of 30 minutes now. I'm gonna see what Franker Z has for us, and it's a purple ruby. Wait, that doesn't exist in this game. Alright, A0 having a little bit of trouble with the 3 Musketeers. Does have enough energy to get out pretty reliably, though. And Maniacal will be following suit here in just a moment. So yeah, as far as, like, things we could do before we have to start diving suitless Meridia, we have the front of Pod, if it's not bow-locked. We've got Pendant Swamp up until left side. A0 is going to do this weird trick where you fire a few shots and suddenly those blocks don't exist anymore. Only works if you have Wave Beam, I think. I think I remember watching the race where this was first done, and, well, you could color me impressed that day. Now, A0 has returned to A Link to the Past. Wave plus either Space or Plasma. Well, luckily A0's got Plasma, and, unfortunately Maniacal doesn't have Wave, so is not going to be able to take advantage of that. But it looks like through Frog Speedway, A0 is electing to go back to the Dark World. And this is going to be a Pyramid Fairy check. Yeah, it looks like it's overworld check time in A0's case because there's the bomb, there's the Smith chain, the shovel spot's been checked already, Bombo's tablet is still a question mark, and again, we're looking for a lot of stuff. We can kinda skip Gravity Suit, if that's the last thing that shows up, or these runners will try and skip Gravity if it's the last, thing that shows up, but we're still also, besides that, we're still looking for Hook, Quake, and Bow. On that note, there's Bow just chilling on the pyramid ledge. We've had that available to us since Dark World Access. And I don't believe bows are progressive in S. Oh, that's convenient. Is that even randomized? Yeah, chat says it's a package deal. Get a bow, pick up silvers while you're at it. Sure, why not? But yeah, the bows are not progressive in SMZ3, so yeah, those are actually separate bow and silver arrow items. It's just hilarious that they were both right next to each other. Alright, so Pod, definitely a good idea, and definitely A0's next stop. Definitely gonna mirror out and do Eastern right after as well. Meanwhile, Maniacal, just noticing, is kind of surviving Lower Norfair by the skin of his teeth. Ow. Yeah, had to burn the reserves. Is going back down, interestingly. Oh yeah, no Frog Speedway. Oh, Ace is going to do Eastern first. This makes sense. You don't have Green Pennant yet, so do Eastern, get it out of the way, and then just do Pod as soon as you're out. But yeah, Pod does seem like the play right now. Oh, Ace is also broke. Yeah, we've been kind of rupee starved this seed. Oh, wow, so Maniacal's got a farm here, looks like, because Crystal Flash isn't possible without 10 super missiles. Because, yeah, most of the rupees we've seen were not hundos, not even hundos. Most of them were 20s. Yeah, King Zora had X-Ray today, which for this, if nothing else, is going to allow Ace Zero to microwave Dragon. Unfortunately, Maniacal is missing out on Plasma Beam. Plasma Beam was in Bubble Mountain. So, will not be able to microwave Dragon unless that's his next stop. Unfortunately, this farming is bleeding very hard into Maniacal's time at this point. And just like that, down go Armos Knights. Yeah, it looks like Maniacal's farming health, not super missiles. And just like that, time to go do Pod. Alright, escort Monkey to get ripped off 100 rupees. Take 2. Well, now it doesn't matter if Pod's bow locked or not, since we have bow and silver arrows. And in Pod, we find the single arrow of destiny. Well, that said, that's one of 4 items in Pod, 5 items total in Pod, so 4 left. Interestingly, no keys just yet, but since we have bow, we can just check the 2 items back here, and Pod tends to have a lot of the keys in front. I believe the term that constantly referred to is mullet mensch, business in the front, party in the back, as the saying goes. So I feel like we're going to see probably 2 keys back-to-back here. Well, there's number 1. And there's number 2. And there's number 3. And it looks like Maniacal is just going to go with Charge Waves, Charge Spacer Ice at this point. Yeah, because those key hunters do a full energy tank of damage right now on various suit only. So it's not great. There's another key in pod. So that's already 4 out of 6 small keys. Or 5 keys. Oh, another one came up while I wasn't looking, I guess. But yeah, that being said, we should start seeing a smorgasbord of items pop up. Maniacal getting that wave and then probably asking where was that when I needed it 5 minutes ago. And there's the big key for pod. Can we please get some actual items? There we go. There's a red rupee. Harmless Hellway finally has a rupee jackpot. Granted, there was also one at Big Bird, too. But yeah, Maniacal's going to wrap up these upper Norfair checks, and unfortunately only going to find, should he trek all the way to Bubble Mountain Plasma Beam, and that's about it. Now, luckily, courtesy of the randomizer, we can see what these items are in the Dark Maze, because as soon as we pick them up, we get a temporary light cone. Unfortunately, nothing of extreme note in the, Dark Maze. And there's the map. Jeez Louise. So we found map, compass, and I think that's all the keys, so I think everything left has to be an item now. And how many items have we seen now? I think we're at 3 question mark? Maybe 4? Okay, that's 4, so it's just Helmosaur. Thank you, chat. So yeah, this is going to be another crystal under Ace Zero's belt. And yeah, unfortunately, we still can't finish Link to the Past yet. We're still looking for that Quake medallion to get into Turtle Rock. Once we have the Quake medallion, we might see runners try to hover Turtle Rock. I doubt it. Regarding the conversation chat about where the lamp could be, it's probably... I know some folks are saying back at Thieves Town. Back at Thieves Town does seem the most probable. There is also, of course, the Smith Chain, a couple of the other Titansmith's overworld checks that we have not yet seen. That being said, Ace Zero is on Helmosaur King, while Maniacal continues to zip through Norfair. Has finally picked up Plasma, so now he is also Quispy. Oh yeah, by the way, Silver Arrows make Helmosaur a complete joke. And the reward is a heart piece. We'd like to welcome the folks raiding in from Go Mode Podcast. We got a lot of raids tonight. You folks are joining us in the middle of qualifiers for SGLIVE 2022. This is the second qualifier for the Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer. And it's going pretty interestingly so far, we're looking for several items for go mode at the 2-hour mark, and not really any good indication of where they could be, since they individually don't lock a whole lot. So Pod did not end up having any actual progression. So it seems like the next best place to be would probably be Pendant Swamp. But Ace is going to first full clear Ice Palace, which does give Maniacal some time to kind of catch up here as he finishes up Norfair. If I recall correctly, I think A0 did use Space Jump to check the landing site PBs. And they were a missile tank. I think he did it right before Wreck Ship. But yeah, we've got a little bit of time here while we are waiting for runners to essentially check over each other's things. So I guess while we have some time, I will again go over what the order of operations is going to be for the SMZ3 combo randomizer portion of SGLIVE 2022. This is our second qualifier race. As we mentioned before, there are 2 more queued up for Monday, August 22nd, and the following Saturday, August 27th. After which, the top 32 runners will be organized into groups. If we end up having 40 participants by that point, the group stage will increase to the top 40. Runners will be put into a group stage, and then I do believe we have a bracket stage. We do have a bracket stage, rather, right afterwards. Runners only have to partake in 2 of those qualifier matches, and the first 2 will be the ones counted for group stages. Yeah, only the first 2 of any races and qualifiers will be used. Okay. Chad brings up a good point. That, while it is Lamplock, that mushroom on Lumberjack Ledge has been teasing us for the whole game. Oh, it's the first 2 highest scores that count. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. And yeah, right now we're still seeing Maniacal clear out the rest of the overall, because yeah, in Maniacal's case, his strategy has been rush or full clear the dungeons first, see if any progression comes up, and so far not been the case. Now, having said that, when Maniacal does go to Pyramid Fairy, he will receive both bows, with one on Pyramid Ledge, the other chillin' in Pyramid Fairy. And I say 2 bows, but I mean silver arrows on Pyramid Fairy. Because again, SMZ3 does not have progressive bows. Oh, they can do 2 quals, only the top score counts. Okay. Do we have a lot of runners in this? In this qualifier, we have 26. Now, with this equipment, A0 should have fairly minimal trouble with Cold Stare. Fire Rod Half Magic does make this pretty smooth. So yeah, again, if we end up having more than 40 runners before the end of group stages, we will increase the group stage size to top 40 instead of top 32. Alright, A0 is done with Cold Stare. Let's see what his next stop is. The way I see it, I mean, if we're looking for the lamp, then logically back of Thieves Town is probably the best bet, but it looks like A0 is more interested in... No, this might be back of Thieves Town. It could be Skull Woods. We do know that Flute is there, but Flute is actually going to be really late to the bandwagon in A0's case. Alright, so Maniacal is going to pick up X-Ray Scope and now have microwave capabilities. Alright, so indeed we are going to see the overworld checks now from A0 with Smith Chain, Purple Chest, Hammer Pegs, so good chance for progression to show up here, because we are running out of logical checks. Unfortunately, we're running out of good logical checks at that. Looks like A0 is now interested in Back of Thieves. There are still 2 items remaining here, and the big chest is perfectly reachable courtesy of Hammer. But yeah, this seed has been kinda rough. Our Morph Ball was in Retro Brinstar E-Tank. So they were Sphere 0, but it was a hard mode seed immediately. Oh, Maniacal is dipping pod without the bow. Isn't doing Pyramid Fairy. That's going to be real annoying from his perspective when he goes and picks that up. Looks like he's attempting to mimic Clip. It looks like that red mimic is moving, but not by much. Okay, see ya. Now he's moving. Moving off screen. Alright, there's another item in Thieves. So it's missiles, and I think, yeah, with the compass, there's one more item still left and the map. So, probably not a bad idea to check the big chest here. And it's the other green rupee. So Thieves Town was not the answer. A0, interestingly, not just mirroring right out. The thing is, in A0's case, he's currently missing Master Sword, and the only one he knows of for sure is unfortunately on pedestal. So A0 might actually be thinking about being ready to pull that for a Master Sword if it's absolutely necessary, which at the rate we're going, we might be heading to Pendant Swamp in a bit, and if Hookshot is there, we might end up clearing it. Alright, that is the first pendant for A0. But yeah, stuck to the blind script flawlessly. Pretty easy fight. But just nothing of unfortunately. Yeah, this seed again has had us in a holding pattern for the better part of an hour now. And indeed, we are going to see the Skull Woods dive now from A0. So I think A0 is going to get Flute, but unfortunately, it's a little on the late side. It's useful for getting back to Lower Norfair later and all that. Not Lower Norfair, but Meridia later and all that jazz through Cross Game Portal, should you choose. But other than that, Flute's not really going to do us a tremendous amount of good. Very interesting that our runners are putting off Pendant Swamp at this point, just given the amount of checks you can make even before Hookshot becomes an issue. And it's been in Logic for a pretty long time. Because it was logical since First Glove, Moon Pearl on Bomb Terizo, Mirror was free. Hammer was in Brinstar. Yeah, Ace is going to drop Mothula real quick. And I think, yeah, A0 might actually be considering pulling Ped for a Vanilla Master Sword here. But that is, of course, entirely dependent on where Hookshot is and if it's just chilling in Swamp Palace. Vanilla Hookshot, anybody? As if we've already had enough of that, enough vanilla stuff in the seed today. Now, having said all that, there's a good bet A0 might get that Hookshot Cape Sword on the way over to Turtle Rock afterwards. And we're going to see the Smithy get turned in. The Ice Palace big key was right over the big chest. Smithies are heart piece forgers. And there's Maniacal's, or A0's flute. And And it looks like Maniacal did not pick up, might be setting up Phantom Chess Glitch here. Yeah, I think this is a Phantom Chess Glitch. At least I call it Phantom Chess Glitch. So yeah, Maniacal may not have the purple chest with him at the moment, but mirroring right in front of the guy, 3, 2, 1, Missile Pack. That is such a peculiar glitch. Alright, and after quite some time, we're also finally going to get to see the Bombos tablet. Now, we know this is Lamplock because Book was on Old Man, and it's just a red rupee. Ah, good grief. Where is our progression? It's really looking good for Pendant Swamp at this point. And this is going to give Maniacal some time back here against Ace Zero for just getting to Swamp earlier. And busting out of Pod before Bow. Now that is time Maniacal will need to catch up on eventually. And just Couch Cash, move along. Alright, first chest in Swamp is Power Bombs. So yeah, it looks like we've got both runners converging into, for the lack of a better term, a last location Swamp. A last location Pendant Swamp, I should add. And we're pretty confident this is going to put the runners on track here. Now, exactly what this gives them is a mystery. Like, I think the last thing these runners want to see right now is high jump boots. Because then that basically screams suitless Meridia. Okay, that's the best thing they wanted to see, which is Gravity Suit. So now Meridia's wide open. Unfortunately, that also just drastically increased the number of locations where Quake Medallion, and by extension, for that matter, Hookshot, can end up being. Because it is possible this dungeon could have been like a... You want to know a really bad case scenario? What if Gravity leads to Hook and Green Pendant is Quake? Have fun! But yeah, we do have all the tools at this point for Meridia, especially with Spring Ball. But yeah, Pendant Swamp, definitely the place to be here. And I feel like after this, our runners are going to finish up. And now they don't need high jump boots anymore since they have Gravity. And this is this is a very early Swamp Palace chest that had Gravity. This has been in Logic since First Glove, Hammer, Mirror, Flippers were Sphere 0. Yeah, this has been in Logic for a very long time. we are seeing left side swamp now from Maniacal. And I don't think we've seen the big key yet. But that's gonna do it. Maniacal is done with swamp. And this looks to be a save and quit to the mountain. Looks like Maniacal's going to go to Meridia via Norfair. Oh, left side swamp, not the answer either, so that is going to do it for Swamp Palace. Alrighty, off to Meridia we go. 2.5 hours, almost 2.5 hours later, we finally get to see Meridia. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we can find here, and a lot of stuff we're still looking for, like the lamp, literally just chilling right in front of the front door. Unfortunately, that speed booster locked. So, where's speed booster? Watch it be like on Mama Turtle or something. Okay, so once we find speed booster, all that dark room shenanigans that we talked about earlier is going to be finally put into logic. That mushroom is going to finally be put into logic. Looks like A0 is going from the back door into Meridia, so we're going to be seeing a lot of checks between the two of them. Pretty rapid fire here, chat, so strap yourselves in. A lot of stuff is happening. Now there's another blue rupee. Alright, what do we got here? A rupee jackpot, which is not helpful in Maniacal's case at this point. Oh, and it looks like A0 just found Screw Attack right in front of Dragon. It likes to not pick it up at the moment. And we find Tempered Sword and Mirror Shield in the watering hole. So, A0 probably probably doesn't have to worry anymore about that pedestal sword. I doubt Ace is gonna... Oh yeah, by the way, Dragon is absolutely a cakewalk with microwave. There's your fried shrimp for the evening. Dragon Boss Vanilla. Alright, looks like Maniacal's getting the Sandpit safety save conducted. Unfortunately, Aqueduct, we're gonna have to hold off on for a second unless it looks like Maniacal is preparing to snail clip. Because yeah, these checks can be a bit of a pain in the backside. Gets it and is immediately rewarded with the Quake Medallion. Oh, and snail clip isn't launching in hard difficulty anyway. But yeah, that is definitely a big break for Maniacal. We need that Quake Medallion. That, given that runners will probably be able to skip hookshot now, that's basically no mode for us. I mean, yeah, we're still technically looking for hookshot, but we can get away without it. There's also the fourth bottle in the left sand pit. Alright, Ace Zero in the meantime is trying to set up the snail clip. Am I imagining things, or is the snail going backwards? Oh, never mind, Ace Zero flipped it to the other side. Trying to use X-ray scope for a little assistance there, not playing out right. Sandpit has red mail and the hook shot. Everything in Meridia, folks. And it looks like Maniacal is interested in checking out our good friend Shaq Tool here, looking for this bow. Unfortunately, got sent back down by critters. Yeah, meet Shaq Tool. Guys, clearing our way for one check here. For one item. Although Maniacal is parkouring over the sand tiles here. Oh, and it looks like Ace Zero is busting out. Was only interested in grabbing Quake Medallion. Because, yeah, with Bow, Ace Zero can basically call it a day. So, I believe Ace Zero is playing as though he's in go mode. Having said that, because Ace busted out when he did, he's missing a sword again. And unfortunately, Shaq Tool was junk. Now we'll see if Ace Zero decides to check the hookshot cave chest before Turtle Rock. If he does, he's fine. If not, oops? Question mark? Now, absolute worst case scenario, Ace does have a backup plan and can just pull Pedestal for a sword. So Ace isn't completely screwed if that's the case, it's just going to be mildly inconvenient. And yeah, at this point, Screw Attack is just not helpful since we've already done lower Norfair, so it's not going to do us any good. So that's why runners are skipping it. But yeah, Ace is definitely playing as though he doesn't need hookshot. Unfortunately, that means he does have to go through this elevator puzzle the slow way. Meanwhile, Dragon gets utterly annihilated. Again. And yeah, A0 getting a little bit too bullied by the crystal rollers. And then is going to take an intentional death warp here. And I wasn't paying... I think A0... No, A0 went left first and then got the 2 keys. I'm very curious to know where Speed Booster and... I'm very curious to know where Speed Booster actually is for all this lamp shenanigans we've been talking about for the last couple hours. I didn't catch the first item either, but it definitely wasn't anything serious. On that note, found Speed Booster. Meridia was technically a forced double dip. Disgusting. So that snail clip is then hard required. So yep, definitely a hard mode seed today, folks. Maniacal, on the meantime, is carrying that spin speed all the way probably to Turtle Rock as well. What was required that was behind Lamp? Technically Armos Knights. Technically Pod. Technically Meyer and Turtle Rock. See, I mean, Lamp was logically required. Because, yeah, you had to Snail Clip to get Speed Booster, or Snail Clip to get Quake, then go into TR to get Speed Booster, then go back for Lamp. Which, yeah, ew. Yeah, logically that's ridiculous. Luckily our runners only take logic as a suggestion at best. And there's bombs in Mimic Cave. And there's another key. I think... how will they beat Mother Brain? Actually, should be pretty quickly with this equipment, because they have all beams. So Maniacal's about to get the 2 keys here, and then is going to happen upon Speed Booster. In A0's case, yes, he's in Go mode for both games. Technically, both runners were in Go mode for Super Metroid ever since Gravity Suit showed up. For Super Metroid since Gravity Suit showed up, but for A Link to the Past, they were looking for that Quake medallion. A0 does still have to find that last key, and there it is. Alright, and Ace still needs a sword for A Link to the Past Go mode. But yeah, both runners have been in Super Metroid Go mode pretty much since Gravity Suit. No bow is actually a huge problem for Maniacal, because he needs it for 2 bosses, for 2 temples. Ooh! Oh, wait, no, that was, A0, set a respawn point. Never mind. We're good, we're good. Yeah, A0 wants to check this last chest because, again, he's still looking for that sword. Which, if we're really lucky, A0 is going to go and check Hookshot Cave and be very happily rewarded with that sword. Kane, work with us here. Yeah, this fight is a little rough with hammer and no tempered sword. Ooh, that was a hard hit. Duck. Yeah, now Ace has to not get hit again, because I don't think he can take a hit. Why did, Ace did the laser bridge check to look for a sword. Ooh, that was a little tighter than it needed to be, but A0 takes down Trinex. Oh, wait, it was down to just dungeon items only. Never mind. A0 didn't count the items. Alright, moment of truth here. Will A0 go ahead and check Hookshot Cave before dipping GT looking for a sword? The answer is yes. So Ace probably not too happy about leaving this behind for so long, but that is going to put Ace in go mode at 240. Hammers the sword chest in mild frustration. But at this point, it is just a run to the pyramid, because this is fast Ganon, which means the pyramid is already open, so Ganon is just chilling there, ready for us to take him down. No need to climb GT today. So yeah, with both runners getting Gravity Suit at roughly the same time, the big break for A0 was checking Pyramid and getting Bow. And by extension, Silvers, because now this Ganon fight's gonna be pretty much a cakewalk. And Ganon giving us his slug facts for the night. However, we will be taking Ganon down faster than said slugs. Unfortunately, without Tempered, we do have to rely on spins for these first phases of Ganon. And yeah, A0 pulling out Magic Cape for improv to help get a few extra spins for phase 2. Burning almost all of that magic, but does have a spare bottle of green goo in the event that it is necessary. Trinex, on the other hand, is down for Maniacal. We'll see where he decides to go next. We know Pyramid Fairy is the place he needs to be, or Pyramid in general. Hopefully the fact that it is 3 total checks over there does convince him to head in that direction. Alright, Maniacal has warped to Link's house, so this is definitely the closest portal to Pyramid Fairy. Ganon, I would appreciate it if you would stop teleporting everywhere, thank you. Okay, Maniacal is heading over there without the bomb, but that's still fine because he is going to discover the bow. And yep, the green goo comes out. Looks like A0 successfully prepared Torch Glitch. Oh no, never mind. But yep, that's the bow for Maniacal. And that is going to effectively put him in go mode. And get a single G in chat for A0. Now, it's not over yet. A0 still has to go and kill Mother Brain and escape from Zebus. But yeah, still, again, a fantastic race from both of these runners. Maniacal is going to be done in a matter of time. It's just a matter of him finishing Eastern Pod and then zipping, and then basically doing the same stuff A0's doing. Now, folks, once again, our next qualifier after tonight will be on Monday, August 22nd. This will be at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be the morning of August 23rd for you folks in GMT and further eastward. With the final qualifier being Saturday the 27th at noon Eastern. So definitely stay tuned for those two races. They're going to be fantastic. Unfortunately, with high jump being missing in action the whole game, we're not going to see a baby skip. Having said that, the rest of this equipment will make Torian a cakewalk. Still, despite what ultimately ended up being kinda trash logic and a nasty spot for Gravity Suit, this seed's still gonna be pretty close to sub 3 hours. Now, Ace remembering to face right here because it skips a couple of frames in this cutscene. We save the frames, especially in Super Metroid. Boy, it's a good thing they put this energy recharge station here. Alright, Meanwhile, pod is done for Maniacal. He might sub 3 this if he has a particularly good Ganon and Torian. With Tempered Sword, it is a much faster fight. Ace, in the meantime, nailing the Zebetite skip. So far, A0 not having any trouble here. Probably is going to try and set up for stand-up glitch here, given that the equipment is much better here. Yeah, that looks like exactly what he's doing. Alright, looking good. So what we're going to see Ace do is try and basically slam as many charge shots into Mother Brain as possible before proceeding Hyper Beam. Because, yeah, believe it or not, this is dealing damage, and Mother Brain does have like 38,000 HP here. A couple of A0 shots did unfortunately whiff, so this isn't going to be a perfect stand-up finish, but it should only be a couple more Hyper Beam shots anyway afterwards. Yeah, Mother Brain's already starting to turn red, so it should only be a couple shots, at best. Yeah, like 3 or 4. Still a pretty good Mother Brain fight from A0 nonetheless. So Maniacal got the Eastern Palace Crystal, but hasn't immediately... Maniacal, you do realize this is fast Ganon, right? Maniacal may or may not have forgotten that this is fast Ganon, and does not need to go into GT looking for a hook shot. I guess between 1 and 22 where the big key is? Question mark? Now, in the meantime, A0 is just zipping on through the escape sequence here. Well, nothing in the first 2 checks. Actually, wait, Maniacal can't be looking for hookshot. He's seen it. Or did he? Did Maniacal see right side sandpit? Somebody did. But that's gonna do it. Get your GGs in chat for A0, who finishes this race with an official race time GG time of... if I can find it. A0 finishes with a time of 2:51.58. That is going to be good for 6th place. Over overall. Our first place finish was Aussie 101 with a time of 2:32.27. Yowza. That being said, the remaining finishes ahead of A0 were only about 5 minutes apart, with Farfalu taking second with a 2:47.32, Ivan a 2:47.55, SP Ridley with a 2:50.13, Tony Taeyong with a 2:50.55, and we also had 3 additional finishes since, with Blandation, Polar Bear Bunny, and Ikir, with times of 2:53.19, 2:55.11, and 3:02.50. So once again, GG's to A0, a fantastic finish, and we are joined in the booth by A0. GG's to you.
Thanks, GG.
Your thoughts on the seed?
It was really interesting. I liked it for the most part. I was really frustrated by the sword. That was absolutely the worst thing. Like, I forgot to check that the first chest in Hookshot Cave, and that cost me so much time because I had like obviously some really rough boss fights, like Vitreous and Landmo even. Like I couldn't land the hammerheads.
Indeed.
And of course, like I routed things differently, like kind of hedging my bets on the pedestal sword. Like I would never have done blind knowing it was the map if I already had Master Sword there. So like it ended up costing me like 5 or so minutes, but which is frustrating because it feels like I made some good decisions and understand how you could have done much better, like just being super thorough early, which is I'm sure what Aussie did, just being as absolutely thorough, full clear as possible, like in a qualifier with his skill, and probably got that gravity suit way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, but the gravity suit was in a kind of lousy spot.
Yeah,
even though Swamp was in play for quite some time. But the big break for you was you checked Pyramid Fairy as soon as you got the second crystal. Maniacal checked Pyramid, or got the bow after beating Trinex. So Maniacal's bow was his go mode, and as a result, literally waltzed right by Silver's. Also is for some reason in GT.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I was just gonna say, like, he doesn't look like he's looking for something. I guess doesn't realize it's fast cannon for this setting.
Yeah, to be fair, fast cannon I don't recall. I think fast cannon is a semi-recent addition to SMZ3.
Yes. Yeah, it's easy to miss. There's nowhere like on the start menu or anything that says it, and if you don't go up and look at the open pyramid, you don't know. But that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, you actually were both pretty linked up going through Lower Norfair to Ridley, for example, and you both got Gravity Suit virtually at the same time.
Okay.
So between the two of you, that was where you both met up. You ended up going to Bubble Mountain first, so your offensive power in Super Metroid ended up coming into play earlier. Maniacal, on the flip side, did a few other things, like, for example, went to Skull Woods first and got Flute earlier than you did.
Okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say, like, if he did Lower Norfair before Upper Norfair, like, he almost had to get the Flute. Otherwise, that's kind of silly to do the high jumpless lava dive with all of Upper Norfair there. Not that it's not maybe a little silly to do it in general when it's out of logic and
shoutouts to a particularly rupee starved start, not helped by the fact that flippers were Sphere 0.
Yeah, that was a little weird. And I definitely made a point to check like Catfish and Zora pretty early to not orphan that in case people did like Houlihan, because there were enough rupees that if someone did a Houlihan start, they would have been like right there with what you needed, or at least really close. I was confused early. It's a very minor thing, but I guess I learned something about the game when you, like, the stun prize was like broken, or if you burn an enemy to death, do they not drop the stun prize item even when they're stunned? Because I got 2 different rewards from stunned enemies, and I had no idea what was happening.
Not sure, to be honest with you, on that one.
Yeah, I was like, maybe there's something wrong with the stun prize, and I can like keep trying this to get rupees. Is what made me think of that, because that was what was going on in my head. But I got like arrows and magic from 2 different stunned enemies that I killed with different weapons after using the boomerang. But I don't know. Yeah, it was an interesting seed though. I liked that all 3 of the pendants had items, but none of them had to be cleared, and they were all, at least 2 of the 3 were like not necessary. Because that'd be kind of cool if they ended up all not being necessary, and like you could have just skipped all the pendants and missed out on the good stuff that is very helpful, like the flute and the space jump.
Yeah, logically, this sea was a royal pain in the backside because you weren't expecting to pick up Lamp for the dark rooms until after you go get Speed Booster out of TR. Which is bad enough that was Gravity Suit locked, which was in Swamp.
Wait, so Lamp was
in the front of was in Main Street.
Oh, and I just didn't check that because I left. Okay, I was worried about that too, about leaving a sword in Meridia, but
funny that there was one in the watering hole, and Hookshot was in right side sand pit. Literally everything else was in Meridia. Also, Maniacal hovering.
Nice.
Because why not?
You know, in retrospect, I'm kind of glad I didn't check. Nice hover. I'm glad I didn't check the right sand pit. Well, that might have put me into Hookshot Cave before TR, but I might have just go-moded TR and just done Swamp to get my pedestal sword, which would have been slower, I think, than what I did.
We honestly thought for a second that was, well, around the Thieves' Town Skullwoods especially, we figured that you were deliberately clearing pendants for the purpose of getting sword, which sounds like that was what the plan was until Hookshot Cave.
I was definitely leaving that option open. I was definitely leaving that option open, and if I got the hook shot, like I would have, yeah, that would have been kind of bad. And I thought about, I didn't really think about Watering Hole. It seemed a little too far out of the way, with like all of TR available and all of GT, where there easily could be a sword. And I figured I could go back to Meridia if I had to, but I did think about like just save scumming one of the sand pits really quick to go down the other one. And I would have definitely just taken the hook shot and cleared Swamp, which would have been weird, but not that bad, I guess.
All right, well, Maniacal's about to get the very bad news that this is a fast Ganon. 3, 2, 1. I assume Maniacal's gonna toss a bomb down in Rage. Or not. But yeah, Maniacal is going to have an easier Ganon fight. The 2 swords Maniacal picked up were... Maniacal didn't pick up the pet sword either. He won with Hookshot Cave and Watering Hole. Let's see what else. I wonder where high jump boots are, actually. That's the question I've been wondering for a while, because we were very much eyeing Suitless Meridia, but the lack of high jump boots was just basically killing any incentive to go there.
Yeah, and it was in logic, and I was kind of thinking like, that's what I was sort of hoping in a weird way, is when I was in Swamp Palace, I was hoping Swamp would be empty, and I could find like, I just wanted Quake behind Dragon or something. Because I was fully committed to doing Suitless Dragon, like the RBO, like Crystal Flash to get the spike suit, and then like grapple jump out, you know. So like I can definitely do that. I was gonna save, of course, it's not like free by any means for me, but I was thinking like that'd be great if I could do that and just skip like the horrible bootless, suitless Meridia that nobody ever wants to do because it's so bad.
I'm also just now realizing I forgot Maniacal didn't pick up silvers, so yeah, has to do this the hard way. Not too bad with Tempered Sword, but even still...
Oh yeah, the lumberjack too. That was that was weird.
Oh yeah, that was.
I kind of thought about it at one point, but I don't know. It seemed like more of like a one-on-one play, like for a qualifier, like. Hardly anybody's going to do that, if anybody. So, like, it's not a good meta play, because if it's not the thing, then you just gave 25 people a big advantage over you. And if it is, you moved up a little bit because, part-time set by like 5 people here, so it didn't seem like a good play for this format.
Yeah, that mushroom was staring us in the face pretty much the whole game. We were starting to wonder, is gravity suit on there? Maybe high jump boots are behind that. Actually, what were boots again? Village Vowcast chess mini game. So yeah,
Yes.
that could have been a case. High jump boots could have just been chilling behind that mushroom. Then again, actually that wouldn't make sense because that Aga's lamp locked anyway. So yeah, with lamp in Main Street, never mind.
I mean, that still could be high jump there, but it just makes it worse to get. You're like basically never doing that.
Well, the thing is that Aga's lamp locked, and you need high jump for suitless Meridia, so...
Right, but if you get the gravity suit, then go to
that's
Meridia, get your lamp, then go back to Aga.
Yeah, this, thankfully, it wasn't
that time you're in go mode.
Well, thankfully, it wasn't a hard logic seed with normal mode placement. It was definitely a hard seed. The snail clip we basically discovered at that point was required after we saw speed boost behind Quake. That being said, I don't think I have anything else in particular I want to ask you, except your thoughts for the remainder of the qualifiers. Is this your second race?
It is. I kind of played a little too aggressively, I think, for a qualifier in the first one. Lost some time with a whatever it was progression at Shack Tool. I forget the item. I definitely did better in this one, I think. Like, I didn't do the math, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be better. Maybe good enough to get me up to first quartile, but a lot of people are really good. And wouldn't be surprised if I still end up like second quartile in the placement. But either way, I'm looking forward to the tourney. I can't do the other qualifiers, unfortunately, because I would just do them for fun, because I love these big group races. It's always neat to see everybody turn up.
Indeed. And yeah, Maniacal not even trying to do baby skip, just gets grabbed first frame. No high jump boots. Doesn't make sense to do that anyway. Oh, he's probably going to be pretty annoyed that he accidentally did defeat Ganon instead of fast Ganon. But yeah, as far as questions I have for you, I don't have any except to say good luck in the group stages.
Yeah, thank you. I kind of want to chat with Maniacal, but I do sort of have to get going, so I'm gonna step out. But GG's Maniacal and everybody else in the race. Those that finished up ahead, in particular, with some crazy good times. But yeah, thanks for free stream commentary, tracking everything.
GG's, thanks for racing. All right, folks, and yeah, as we start wrapping up here, actually, because Maniacal will be done in about 5 minutes, be sure to give both of our runners, Acer and Maniacal, a follow, as they have put on a fantastic show for you here on this Friday night. And we also want to take a quick moment to thank our tracker Mad Ewok Herd, who has done a great job pushing all the buttons and dealing with mild tech issues in the middle to make sure everybody knows who has what, and for making sure that I get my hard logic notes straight. Thanks to everybody in chat for helping along that front as well. Alright, so Maniacal not having any trouble with Mother Brain either, pretty much armed exactly as A0 was. Alright, this stand-up is prepped for Maniacal with an exactly perfect amount of HP to hit 99, but no worries there. See if Maniacal has a better stand-up here. Is definitely getting some more consistent hits here. This is really consistent so far. Now, one thing you definitely don't want to do when standing up is not accidentally let the baby go too high on the screen, because if that happens, Mother Brain can't shoot the baby, and you're basically screwed. This is a really good stand-up. This is going to be like 2 Hyper Beam shots. Absolutely, I wouldn't say a perfect stand-up, but very, very well done. But now it's just Maniacal's turn to zip on out. Alright, Maniacal about to cross the finish line here, and that should do it for this restream, folks. Get your GGs in for Maniacal, who finishes this race with an official race time GG time of, checks notes, that is going to be a 3:10.06, and that is going to be good for 13th place, just in the top half of our runners here today. And Maniacal now joins us here in the SG booth. GG's to you, Maniacal.
Hey, thanks. Was it though?
I mean, well, where do we start? Well, let's backpedal to the mid game for a bit, because
Yeah, we'll start with the part where I kind of stopped carrying around Lower Norfair.
yeah, we saw you taking some time to farm extra health before dealing with 3 musketeers.
Yeah, I momentarily, like in the, oh gosh, I need to get out from between musketeers like 1 and 2 and back past 3 or wherever I was. Like I was in a bad spot, and didn't want to lose all of the Lower Norfair. And in that mild panic, I thought, okay, well, I can cap power bombs on the Alcoons and then get 20s from the Fire Fleas pretty consistently, and that should be a route to getting enough health, and just completely neglected to think about, Charge Ice Spazer. I was pretty deep in farming up by the time I was like, Charge Ice Spazer, I don't know the exact damage table, and Red Key Hunters health numbers, but it would have been faster than whatever I did. So I was like, well, we just threw like 6 minutes in the dumpster. And so this one's one to throw back, unfortunately, but qualifiers are qualifiers, and this qualifies as something. So just kind of played it out, decided to have some fun with it.
Logically, this scene was already enough of a mess. I mean, you saw the lamp and the hookshot in Meridia where they were after Quake Medallion, no less.
Yeah, I'm looking at the tracker. I see Ace also chose to skip hookshot. So GG on him. I didn't know he had his hovers down.
Ace, Ace didn't need to hover.
He Moldarm bounced?
It's fast scanning, mate.
Wait, what?
The qualifiers are fast cannon. 774
Oh.
fast cannon. So
Oh,
you
okay.
You didn't
So you-
need to do GT.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that is. I missed that in the documentation. Okay, well, that's good to know. That'll save a few minutes next run.
We were wondering about that. We were all kind of scratching our heads, and we were wondering, like, did he not notice it was fast cannon? But
I mean, SMZ3 has never been fast cannon.
that's true. That fast cannon's been a recent change.
So I wouldn't
mission, so.
I wouldn't even have thought to look for the hole to be open, because SMZ3 for the past, I mean, from the alpha to any recent seed I've played has never been fast cannon.
That's fair.
I didn't even know it was a flag that could be set, so I didn't even think to look for it.
Well, it's funny that, because silvers were right next to your go mode.
Silvers were next to my...
They were vanilla. They were vanilla on Pyramid Ferry.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, that was one thing A0 had a problem in, is A0 actually ended up going Fighter Sword for the entire game up until picking up the Hookshot Cave Sword. That ended up being his master for Master Sword Ganon. You picked that up way earlier and picked up Tempered and Watering Hole. And A0 rather, sorry. A0 went back into Meridia from Ice Palace, from the Ice Palace area instead. So didn't see Hookshot, Lamp, or that third sword.
Yeah, but by the time I basically last located Gravity in front of Hookless Swamp and stayed in for an empty left side, I was just like, I was committed to seeing volume at that point and just having some fun with it.
Well, it's funny that
I felt like my GT was good too. That sucks. That sucks that it wasn't required, because I hit a lot of the things I wanted to hit in GT.
Yeah, your GT was pretty good. I will give you that.
Yeah.
The other thing was, you were both actually going through Swamp and getting Gravity at about the same time. A0 had already picked up Bow by that point, though.
Yeah, I played really, really thoroughly except for that one location. That was the only skip I made in the entire game, actually. Other than, I mean, I guess if you count Back of Thieves at 2 items and Pendant Thieves as a skip. But like quite literally the only thing I hedged on and didn't have a route back to was Pyramid Ledge. And so I did it before going back to re-grab the hook shot, because I was like, well, if it's here, then I don't need to go grab the hook shot to get my bow.
Okay.
And so that was kind of an unfortunate location for the bow. I didn't find enough, or I guess there are no progressive bows in this, because SMZ3 I don't think has those.
No.
So I was wandering around and I was like, man, I got this 2-outer for a bow in my mind. I was thinking there were 2 bows out there, but that's just me being rusty at the game. So, you know, them's the breaks.
Well,
Also was really late to the Moon Pearl and really late to all the relevant early game stuff. Put off Bryn Loop, then put off top of Crateria.
yeah, that is something
So-
A0 did route in a lot earlier after picking up Morph Ball. I think you ended up doing Wreck Shield
Yeah,
first.
last
and then
located
go
Morph
around.
Ball.
But you both last located Morph Ball. It's okay.
I mean, this one went about as badly as reasonable, and so if I cut a slow GT with where that big key was off of this, I'm actually not too sad about where I finish, and that explains some of the times a little bit more. But yeah, I honestly don't think I played like complete trash. I think I just finished like complete trash. So
No, your play was absolutely fine. It's just, unfortunately,
I mean,
it
the
turns
lower
out
Norfair
it's-
was bad. That was objectively bad. And if I had just done upper Norfair and said it's a qualifier, I'm going to play volume, I'm in like go -6 anyway. And you can't count on like the 12 items in lower Norfair to be all of your go mode stuff. So
Yeah.
that was a huge macro mistake on my part.
Between the 1 and 2 hour marks, we were basically just looking for Hook, Quake, Grav, and Hook, Quake, Gravity, and Bow. for like the better part of an hour. After Variasuit and Pegasus Boots, the seed really did slow down. Like we didn't see anything for a long time because you were both going through Lower Norfair at about the same time. You kind of played a bit of, for lack of a better term, Simon Says when you were doing your Lower Norfair dives. Although A0 did the lava dive and did Showcase Showdown.
Okay, so I guess high jumpless dive, or did I miss the boots somewhere?
Apparently, based on what somebody in chat was saying, high jump was at Plasma Beam.
Okay, so that was where I was going after grabbing the hook shot. If Bo was not on Pyramid, that was the route that I was on. Was go to Pyramid Ledge, and then follow Pyramid down into back of Meridia, which like that's a bad route. It's very sparse. I forgot to grab the bomb for Pyramid Ferry, so that was a little unfortunate. I guess I would have had silvers, but they don't save that much time anyway. It kind of would have been time neutral. But would have gone into backdoor Meridia, down the sandpit, grab hookshot, go up and get plasma. So
something that was helpful for your routing early is that you didn't go straight for King Zora until you had the extra cash, because it was a very cash-starved start here.
Yeah, so that was the other thing. Was I don't know what was wrong with my my walk camera manip Houlihan, and I need to derust it. I haven't used it since 2017 because it hasn't been a highly relevant strat.
I figured that's what you were trying to do, but I'm not familiar with that particular walk cam strategy.
Basically, if you rub your head on the lower edge of those graveyard stones, you should be good. And I messed it up like 5 times, and eventually I was just like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to hope it's not Zora.
And it turns out Zora was just selling a microwave.
Yeah, because I was looking at my rupees and I was above 275, so I was like, okay, we're right for Houlihan before doing Zora, and I kept trying, basically. Because when I was in Eastern, I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I won't need the 90 rupees from the back of Eastern, so I can just save and quit out of the big key chest. And then, like, my mental state was not in a great place after messing up those Woolahans and then the lower Norfair. So I guess if you cut those times plus the GT that apparently everyone else gets to skip, that's a slightly less garbage finish. But I have a way of doing really, really badly for all these SMZ3 qualifiers, so I'm not surprised. Also, every time I race Ace Zero head-to-head, I play like just a disaster. I cannot put up a good race against Ace for whatever reason. So as soon as he volunteered for Restream, I was like, well, sugar, I'm not in for a good time, and it kind of held up. But I had fun anyway.
Well, going into that, so I guess I would take it then, or should I just straight up ask, what are your thoughts on qualifiers going forward?
I had time available to do exactly 2 of them. I will do exactly 2 of them. Wish I could do more, or could have done the first one and could do more. Could do like the 3rd and 4th, but won't be able to. But should be able to do 2 of them. As it turns out, like, both of them are going to have to be on like very little sleep days. So I'm probably not going to play really great. I only got about 3 hours last night, and I expect I'm going to play again on Monday, and I expect to only have about 2 or 3 hours of sleep for Monday as well. So we'll see how they go, but I'll try. I'll probably make top 32 or top 40 or whatever it ends up being. They're trying to put a lot of people into the brackets.
Yeah, it's 32 for now, 40 if we get over 40 entrants, which I think we had 26 in both quals so far.
Okay.
Now, not counting if any of them were different people along the way, so I don't know the total entrant count yet.
But yeah, I think I'll probably fare a little bit better in the next one. I guess Are all of the qualifiers being done as fast cannon? Is the whole tournament
Yes.
being done as fast cannon?
Yeah, the whole tournament is 774 fast cannon.
Oh, so you just never touch GT in this then?
Basically, not unless you're looking for a sword.
Okay, that's a weird choice. That's a weird game balancing choice. I'll just say I don't think I like the choice, not just because it burned me in this one because I just didn't know, but it just, I don't know. I don't like the feel of leaving the long end game of Super Metroid, but taking away the long end game of A Link to the Past.
Unfortunately, I can't speak to as why that call was made either.
Yeah, it just, is what it is. If that's my biggest complaint about the tournament design, then it's a pretty darn good tournament. So, looking forward to it. Should be fun. It's good to play this game again since I haven't really played it too much lately. I appreciate you having me on the restream and suffering through the chaos of that one with me. GG to Ace. He beat me badly enough that I didn't even get to chat with him, unfortunately. But appreciate the commentary, appreciate the tracking and the restream and everything.
And again, we thank you for joining us, A, here in the booth, and B, on the restream to race this crazy seed for us today. All right, then. With that, folks, we will close out. So thank you for watching the second qualifier for SpeedGaming Live 2022's Super Metroid Link to the Past Combo Randomizer Tournament. We again want to thank our runners Ace Zero and Maniacal for their wonderful performance here tonight. And again, give both of those runners a follow. They put on a great show. Again, shout outs to my partner, Matt Ewalkerd, for amazing tracking job tonight. Pushing all the buttons, making sure everybody who knows who has what, including myself with the hard logic. Definitely needed those pointers. Thank you again, both to Matt Ewalkerd and the rest of you folks in chat for your help today. With that said, we look forward to seeing you for our next qualifier, which for SMZ3 is on Monday evening. This will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, August 22nd. We look forward to you folks joining us for that. Excuse me. I have been Captain MD13. Thank you, folks, for watching this race. Have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll see you next mission. Take care.